Hey y'all, welcome back to Andy's Little Homestead. We've been working on milling up this poplar for the siding for the off-grid chicken house, and it has left us with a mountain of sawdust. And the sawdust is a great thing to have. We use it for animal bedding and other stuff. But the problem is we gotta stop the mill and shovel it out every couple hours, and that's kind of annoying. So today we're gonna hook up a giant sucky dust collector and duct system, blow the sawdust out somewhere else. Ideally somewhere that we can collect it easy, but I'm not really sure where that is. I haven't thought it all the way through. How are we gonna do that? Well, we've got this giant chunk of steel right here. Y'all have probably seen it sitting in the yard for a while, but this is the dust collector that came with the mill when I bought it. We hadn't put it on yet because it's real freaking heavy, all bolted to concrete and stuff. And then if we're being honest, I kind of forgot about it. But today, we're gonna get it installed. So the first thing we gotta do is get it off this base. So I know for a fact those bolts aren't gonna come off, but they can't be tight if they're liquid. Yeah, they call me the fireman. That's my name. It's important to remember for safety reasons to surround your working area with plenty of dried leaves and sticks for insulating the metal as you turn it from solid to liquid. So there's still a little bit of slag holding it kind of on there, so we want to gently remove it. All right, so basically what this is just a big ass fan. It's got the intake side right here, and then those impeller blades on the inside spin round and round, throw the sawdust out there. It's got a small pulley on this end. It runs off of belt tube. This big freaking pulley on the back of the transmission. We point the impeller towards that suck hole right there, and then hook it all up. So now we're gonna build some kind of a base to go down there that it's gonna bolt to. They did concrete before. I don't feel like doing concrete. Also, I'm not very good at concrete, but that's beside the point. All right, so we're on our base, and the next thing we got to do is get a line. Anything that's driven off of a belt, those two pulleys need to be in direct alignment with each other. And I have the belt that came with it, but I'm not really worried about making it work. It's not in great shape. So basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to run a level from one to the other. Even though it's going to be kind of angled this way, it'll still give me a good indication side to side whether this one is straight in line with the one above. He even gave me this nice little sucky tube to go through the sucky hole and attach to the suck fan. Get in your hole. So initially, I feel like that was pushed up, like it was all the way at the edge there, so it was directly under the saw blade. And I was kind of wondering what happened, and then I remembered that I had shortened up the drive shaft like 6 months ago. So that checks out. I'll probably end up shortening it up at some point, but I want to make sure we got a true final position on the blower before I mess with any of that. All right, so with everything more or less where we want it permanently, I'm gonna go ahead and measure for my drive belt. We'll run to the hardware store. You know, one of the best things about small town type hardware stores is that they all seem to have hanging from the rafters a whole bunch of belts that have been there for like 20 years. It's like the pinnacle of, I don't want to throw that out because I might need it. I'm sure we lost some alignment there while putting it in place, but the belts are pretty long. I think it'll be all right. So this has two of these pillow block bearings here. We're gonna go ahead and grease them up, and then we'll test fire it. We want to make sure everything's running good before we go through the work of running the rest of the duct work. Obviously this base is less secure than the concrete one, and it might move, but it's pretty dang heavy, so we're gonna try it and see what happens. Oh, come on, you just worked earlier. Oh, I forgot, gotta do that. Fuel shutoffs are important. Well, it seems to be working pretty well. dumped the clutch, it kind of shifted the whole thing forward. We may have to secure it in place a little bit better. Now the last thing that we got to do is we got to run the exhaust duct work. These are the pieces that came with it. They're basically the same kind of tubing that goes on silos. And we got to figure out how it was rigged up. It ain't quite fitting on there. It needs a little love from a hammer. And anything's a hammer if you use it as a hammer. Well, we got it on there pretty good. We're gonna duct tape the hell out of the rest of it. As the old saying goes, if you can't duck it, find an alternative way to accomplish your goals. So we got the second piece on here. So I found myself in a bit of a spot here. This will just barely get it to the other side of the bunks, and that's not exactly where I want all the sawdust to dump. This system is permanent. This is the kind of thing that I gotta kind of get it right the first time, I say, as I'm about to duct tape all these in place. But I really do want it to work out for me. I might have to reroute this a different direction. And ultimately, I want to run this to a place that I can end up covering and be able to drive in with the bucket so I can scoop sawdust out the easy way. Now, my other problem is I can't run it that way because it's in the way of the drive shaft. I don't want to necessarily run it this way because that'll throw sawdust towards the radiator and get it plugged up. So it has to go this way. Not for the first time in my life, I'm finding the length of my pipe inadequate. All right, I didn't figure it out. I kind of just like barely got it through. That's not where I want it long term, but it's gonna go generally that direction, so that's what we're going with. For the record, yeah, that log fell down in there. I gotta get it out, but we're not worried about that right now. I wanna make sure that everything's gonna work. It's nothing to add a couple pieces of duct work and route it to wherever. I just wanna see if it sucks as advertised. So let's try it out. Standing about 20-25 feet away from that, and I can feel the wind. That was awesome. Holy crap, y'all. That was so cool. The system works, the belts held up, everything, nothing even really moved all that much, so that's good. Give it enough time and enough rain, that thing will just sink right in and ain't going nowhere. I don't know of any engineers that would sign off on that, but I didn't ask. But y'all, that thing sucks. And that's what we were going for. Once I get a few more pieces of ductwork, we'll route it to a more reasonable place, somewhere that I can actually like build a covered area. What I'd really like to do someday would be to hook it up to a pellet mill and just have all the sawdust that runs off of there straight through the system and turn it into pellets. Use the softwoods for animal bedding and the hardwoods for smoking. That'd be a cool little setup. Someday we'll get there. We ain't there. That's okay. I'm happy with what we got so far. We'll get the rest of it rigged up. As always, I hope y'all enjoyed and I hope you learned something. I love you. God bless. What do you mean? That's the only saying I know about duct tape. I never heard anything else. I don't know what you're talking about.